I am Jacob. Jacob. Perhaps you know me better as James, the apostle. I am brother to John. Yeshua, Jesus, was our cousin. Our mother and his mother were sisters. My brother and I were known as the sons of thunder, the sons of Zebedee. I wish you could have known him. I wish you could have walked with him as we walked with him. He came beside the Sea of Galilee. He said to Peter and to Andrew, I will make you fishers of men. He said to me and to my brother, follow me. We had waited all of our lives to follow him. I wish to share with you his words. They were some of the first of his public ministry. He had healed. He had cast out demons. He had walked the length and breadth of Israel. He had been to Jerusalem. He had chosen the 12. And he was going to teach us, but there were thousands, a multitude around him. He looked out over this vast multitude, thousands upon thousands of people. And he told to them what he was going to share with us. He sat down. Teachers usually taught sitting down. Rabbis usually taught sitting down. He had spoken the synagogues. He had shared the scriptures. But that day with thousands thronging around him, he gave what we call the Sermon on the Mountain. Happy the poor in spirit. Poor in spirit. That word, poor in spirit, it is the word for beggar. But not just a beggar, not a professional beggar, but rather one who is cowering and cringing, one who is completely devoid of hope or help. Blessed or happy the poor in spirit, because theirs is the reign of the heavens. You see, when a person recognizes that they have in themselves no hope, then they can cry out to Yahweh and they can receive His help. They can call out to Him and He will draw them to Himself. And they will be with Him for all eternity in the heavens. Happy the mourning, because they shall be comforted. Happy the gentle. Gentle. Meek. That is hardly the word. The very sound of it implies weakness, but that is not what he meant. Moses was a meek man. If you read in the first of the books, the history of our people, there was a confrontation between Moses and some of the leaders. God, Yahweh, said Moses was meek. Moses was a strong man. He had been a warrior before in the house of Pharaoh, and a shepherd is not a weak person. He must defend his flock. When he returned after 40 years in the wilderness, he led the people of Israel. He walked before Pharaoh. He was a very strong man, a very powerful man. And yet Yahweh describes him as meek. You see, to be meek is to yield yourself to the power of another. Moses physically was strong, but with all of the time that he had spent with Yahweh, and no one else had spent more time face to face with Yahweh than Moses, he became meek. He saw what it meant to yield himself completely to Yahweh, to God. Perhaps it is best defined as the opposite. A person who is meek, a person who is gentle. The opposite of that would be someone who lifts up themselves, who is self-important, self-assertive, if you will. Happy is the one who yields his strength to God. Indeed, the word itself, it involves yielding to God, the Father as Lord. Happy are the gentle. Happy are those who have yielded themselves completely to the control of Yahweh, because they shall inherit the land. Happy those hungering and thirsting for righteousness, because they shall be filled. Happy are the merciful, because they shall find mercy. Happy are the pure in heart, because they shall see God. Happy the peacemaker. Perhaps you know the Hebrew word for peace, shalom. When that word was translated into the Greek translation of the Old Testament, shalom became soteria, salvation. You see, to have salvation from Yahweh is indeed to have peace. Happy the peacemaker, for they shall be called the sons of Yahweh. Happy those persecuted for righteousness' sake, because theirs is the reign of the heavens. Happy are you whenever they may reproach you and may persecute you, and may say any evil thing against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice you and be glad, because your reward is great in the heavens. For thus did they persecute the prophets who were before you. And they did persecute the prophets. Isaiah, Jeremiah,